A year ago, I reviewed Leica's first watch, and many people commented and saying, what's Leica got to do with watches? Well, what you don't know is that Leica actually started in watches before they started in cameras, in 1863. And I'm going to share that with you guys. Now they've made their second watch, and they've advertised it on their website as every second is a first. Now I'm not into marketing jargon personally, I don't believe the hype, but I gotta tell you, in this case, I actually agree with them. This watch is so schmick and on so many levels. Let's check it out. Now, I've not made it a secret that I love German watches, and Leica being a German brand, well, I know their cameras, and they're minimalist, very functional, very expensive, but they've built up a reputation for themselves over the years for no-nonsense, quality stuff with a particular German signature. Now, in the review of this watch, I'm going to leave the best until last, that dial. And although at first glance you're probably thinking this dial looks very Omega, very tic-tac, well, yes and no. And I'm going to get to that shortly. But firstly, a quick history lesson. What I'm about to tell you, not many people know. Well, not many watch people know. You see, regarding watchmaking and photography, this company's got a little secret, and us watch guys are not made aware of this. The founder, Ernst Leitz, or now called Leica, he actually spent much of his early years in a Swiss watchmaker's workshop in 1863. That's 161 years ago. Now, his expertise in various technical fields, that laid the groundwork for the company's inception in 1870. Now, fast forward to 1913, under Ernst Leitz II's leadership, the Leica was developed, the first prototype of a 35mm format camera. It basically revolutionized photography with its compact design. Now, this milestone was fueled by Leitz's faith in visionary engineer Oskar Barnack. It basically ushered in a new era of photographic innovation. And honestly, it ultimately defined Leica's enduring legacy for photographers across generations, even until today. So not many people knew that fact. And as far as I'm concerned, it's only natural for modern day Leica to return back to its roots, back to watchmaking. For me, that's celebrating the foundational father and the creator of the company. Now, enough of the history lesson. Let's get into the specs of the watch. I measure a case diameter 41 with a case height of 13.2. That crown is a 6.4mm screw-down crown. The watch offers 100 meters of water resistance, and the total weight on the supplied bracelet sized to my 18cm wrist comes in at exactly 167 grams. On the wrist, this is so German, so technically right. It's even got some Porsche design elements here. In fact, some Müller-Glasuter search and rescue properties, especially in its stance and the wearing experience. The only difference, this watch is dialed up to 11 as far as finer details are concerned, and the price. Now, the integration of that bracelet looks to be very well done, and doing a wrist roll you can see that that pattern catches the light beautifully. But not only that, I love the fact that they gave a couple of different options here. I placed the watch on a rubber strap, again integrated, and it wore, as I mentioned, like my Müller-Glasuter SAR. Very comfortable, very practical, very legible, but on an entirely different level. And looking at the third strap option, a canvas style strap, again, great integration and functionality. And the way these bracelets come on and off is through Leica's proprietary easy change strap system. It's real simple. There's a couple of red dots just underneath the lugs. You press that button and the strap comes on and off. Simple as that. And I've got to tell you, in usage throughout the last couple of weeks, that's been a real pleasure. To be able to just swap these things out on demand, at the same time experiencing and enjoying the fine engineering behind it. So I did say that this watch is schmick on so many levels, and this is one of their innovations which I really liked. Now, that crown, for me, is superb, in form and in function. It's a 6.4mm crown, it's a screw down, we unscrew it, there's a healthy pop. 2 clicks, as you can see, we can hack that movement and set that time. A single click allows you to adjust that date. A real healthy snap And don't be afraid, we're not in the danger area, we're actually at 2 midday, so that's fine. Now the winding experience has offered some real nice resistance here. You can feel the quality movement inside. And the latchdown experience is absolutely buttery smooth. Now if you look at that crystal, it's a double dome sapphire. It's got a subtle hint of blue AR, and it really brings out the beauty of that dial. I think they've really chosen well here because the light play and the nuances and the view through that crystal has been ideal. But not only that, turning the watch over, you can see there's a rear sapphire. And here they've chosen a single dome sapphire, and for good reason. On first impressions, that whole caseback looks like a lens filter that you'd screw onto a front lens element. And the crystal itself, being a single dome, if you look at it on an extreme angle, it could double as a front piece of a camera lens. That's pretty impressive. And being a professional photographer of 30 years now, I'm really liking the association with cameras, lenses, and their products. And it's done in such a nice subtle way. Hiding behind that caseback is Leica's caliber LA3001. It's a Swiss movement that's been engineered in close collaboration with the movement developer Chronode. So the heart of this watch is a solid, well-engineered, industrial-looking, no-nonsense workhorse. You can see the dark grey galvanic ruthenium plating of the bridges and main plate. It seems to add a nice modern touch. Minimalist, no nonsense, it's not a bling monster back here. It seems to follow the same theme as Leica's mindset with their cameras. This particular movement beats at 28,800 beats per hour. It's chronometer spec and it has a power reserve of around 60 hours. And it's been running absolutely perfect. Now turning my attention to the lume, the watch offers Swiss Superluminova Grade A. For a sports watch, it's doing a very good job. It's nice to be able to come from outdoors into indoor darker environment and actually enjoy that lume. The view from that dial and handset has been superb. Now that dial features a dual layered design that was inspired by light that passes through it. It was created by designer Marcus Ellinger. And for those who don't know who Marcus is, he was also responsible for other iconic watches, like the IWC Big Pilot, the Zenith Chronomasters, and Moses Streamliner series. So that's pretty schmick in itself. You see their launch edition, which has a black dial, features this beautifully, because at certain angles, in the slotted grills, there's a beautiful red undertone. And I've not seen that in any other watch dial before, and that's a huge plus here. But even the coffee black or midnight blue, I think they've done it right. You see, getting a gilt handset in a coffee version and doing it right, well, it's exactly what they've done here. It's done just right. I just love the tonal range, the shadow details, the mood, the way the sunburst shimmers off that dial, the gradients in color tone. Now I'm starting to sound like a professional photographer. Now turning back to the choice of strap options here, I've got to say they're very classy, but also borderline impractical. And I emphasize the word borderline because they're actually very practical to wear and they wear really well, which did surprise me. However, that said, if you look at the side profile of the bracelet, the internal diameter is 51 mm. So if your wrist is 50 mm and over, this watch will sit beautifully. If it's slightly smaller than that, then I'd probably recommend the rubber option. So bear that in mind. But just the beautiful tolerances and design of how these bracelets work and how they integrate, it looks like Leica has done some serious homework here. Now before you go out and rush to grab one of these beauties, what's the price? Well, I hope you're sitting in a nice, relaxed, comfortable chair, something that's offering good back support, because these watches fall in the range of 11 to 13,500, depending on which option you choose. Stainless steel, rubber, canvas, titanium, etc. They're not an inexpensive watch, but I can tell you assuredly they're built to a standard, and a very good one at that. Now after all that is said and done, all the watches I review on this channel fall into my gripes or room for improvement category. And this beauty from Leica is not exempt here, by no means. And my first gripe, well, the elephant in the room, they're expensive. That price, well, it's nothing to be snuffed at. And me personally, having an Aquaterra in my personal collection that's around the same price point, would I spend the money on this? Well, I've got to be honest, it is very different. It is very appealing. And if I didn't have the Aquaterra, which I really love, I'd seriously consider this watch, because there's nothing really like this out there. And my second gripe for this watch is the availability, because the launch model with the red accents, I believe it's limited to 250 pieces. So that's a bit of a bummer, because that dial is pretty special. My third gripe, there is no micro adjustability on these clasps. However, the link integration and the way it's designed, it seems to work flawlessly. And my last gripe on the watch, well, this one has to go back to its creator, back to Leica. And I've spent so much time with this watch, getting close and personal, bonding with it. I've admired its beauty from dusk to dawn. And now, sadly, I have to let it go. And in all relationships, a breakup is always very difficult and very taxing on the heart. You place a watch in my hands for 2 weeks and then you say, we need it back. I don't want to give it back. But sadly, all good things must come to an end. Bittersweet, but the memories will live with me forever. Expression can sometimes get out of control, and these fresh, vibrant watches from Leica have had a profound effect on me. Indeed, even if it's only been a short space in time. Thanks for watching.